been a minute since I released another video, so don't want to waste your time. Let's get into it. Today I'm going to be discussing my buddy. I'm not going to say his name because I don't, people want people to search him up or anything like that, but I do want his story to be kind of known, just so people can kind of see, what happens when things don't work out as planned. My buddy, just to give some exposition here, my friend spent 15 years in his craft, and his craft is music production. More specifically, he was a drum and bass producer. When I first met him, he was living with a roommate in the city that I grew up in, and he was kind of like my introduction to the electronic music scene in my city, which is Edmonton, right? So through my friends I've known in high school and him, I got to know more about the industry, music promotion, and just overall being involved in like the rave culture of the city and Alberta and British Columbia, I guess you would say. So when I first met him, he had a couple songs here and there released, nothing like really signed to a big label, mostly like very small niche kind of stuff. Him and I developed a pretty close friendship from like end of 2015, and then all of basically 2017 we hung out all the time. I was working in the trades. When I got laid off in the trades, I had like 4 to 6 months before I was starting post-secondary. So I was just on unemployment insurance and chilling. Like I was just like going to his place, getting like drunk as shit every single day, Thursday to like Sunday basically, because back then there was shows happening like all the time. And through that time I got to see his craft and like kind of learn about music production. That's when I started tinkering with music production, and he kind of gave me lessons, and I got to see just like how much he knew, right? So as mentioned, this is when he had like a very small following, like very, very minuscule, I would say. And, a lot of people were saying that there's like, he has a lot of potential and there's just so much upside for him in the future, right? And we all believed that. I mean, like I used to attend all of his shows. I got to see how like hyped people were to see him play like his original tracks and like even just, like just rinse out some drum and bass tunes. And it was like that, I would say, from 2016 all the way to end of 2017. So like end of 2017, he started getting like serious traction. Like he started getting like these big name labels signing him in like the States, in the UK, and it just started building up from there. Like I remember he was playing shows in BC, he was playing shows across Canada. He ended up, I believe ending of 2017, beginning of 2018, he played a show in LA. And from that LA show, he was getting guys like, I don't know how known these names are outside of drum and bass, but like Camel and Crooked played some of his songs live at like Coachella, at Ultra, like all that kind of shit. So he was getting noticed, like everywhere he was getting noticed. So, and all of our buddies were like super stoked for him because he devoted at this point in time like 10 years of his life to music. Like he dropped out of post-secondary. He moved out of like a really small town in Alberta to Edmonton to, I guess, just figure it out, right? And yeah, he just like hustled and hustled and hustled, and finally was getting some recognition for all his hard work. So 2019 comes around, and again, he's just getting signed to like these massive labels. Like they're all like, we want to do like another EP. He's like eventually has an album in the works. He's collaborating with another friend of ours that's pretty big in dubstep. So he was just getting like these massive, massive remix offers and being featured everywhere. So like it was crazy to know someone who, all of us were thinking he was going to be the next like giant ass electronic music artist. So we were like really stoked. Like midway through 2019 comes around, he's working on a European tour, right? He's announcing to us, he's like, "Yeah, this is sick. Like, I'm going to be doing a tour in the UK and France, and I think Belgium was where he was going to go as well." So it was in the works, and he was telling us like, "Yeah, I have like some people saying that that I can like move in with them after the tour is done in Europe, and then maybe just kind of like figure it out from there, or I can go to LA." But end of 2019, his career's peaked. He's just like known like everywhere. He's known at like festivals as like a small artist. He has all this notoriety. He goes on the tour. Then COVID happens. He doesn't get to play a single show, from my understanding, and he's just stuck in the UK while COVID's happening. Eventually, if I remember correctly, during COVID, they started like letting people back on the planes just to get back to their countries, and he was one of those people. So once he gets back, I mean, I'm sure everyone remembers we had like COVID, right? So there was no live shows anymore. It was just like people were like live streaming like Ultra and all these. Like it just sucked. We were just like live streaming DJ sets, and it was just kind of ass. Like no one really cared that much about it. And during this time, it was very obvious that his traction was starting to fizzle out. Like COVID nuked his potential uprising, or his hype cloud, whatever you want to call it. His trajectory to like success was totally nerfed by COVID. And from COVID to like 2025, it was just like going down, 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 to the point where like he stopped, like no one wanted to book him anymore. Like just the time has passed for some reason. He just like was producing less and less music. Like he didn't touch Ableton in like a year. And it was very obvious, like from COVID to now, like the industry changed from people hyping up EPs to now people wanting to release like one song, and then that song gets milked dry on TikTok for, I mean, I don't even know how long, a week maybe, if you're lucky. And then that's it. It got so bad that we were like doing mental health checks on him, because he told us time and time again that if music didn't work out, he was going to clock out. And we were seriously concerned that that's what was going to happen. 2026 rolls around. He ends up having some health scares, right? And he has to move back in with his parents eventually. Back in the town he originally moved out from. So my friends and I, like 24/7, we try to like reach out to him, make sure he's still doing all right. But obviously he's not in the greatest mental health space. And it's just kind of crazy, like looking at his story and seeing kind of like where it is now. And the thing that sucks most is like we had like friends, well, I'll say acquaintances. I'm not going to call them really friends because I wasn't close with them, but they were guys that did promo with us who got really lucky, ended up in Vancouver, and they networked, and I guess like they had like backing from their parents, like financially, so they were able to just like afford going out to like clubs and network and meet people. And now they're very successful because they ended up being taken under the wing of like massive artists that are from the States that come to Vancouver, right? But the thing that sucks is that these guys were mentored by my buddy, and then basically as soon as they realized there was nothing really to gain from him anymore in terms of that, they just left him dry. I wish I could tell you there's like some kind of happy redemptive arc at the end of this video, but there isn't. At this very moment, I messaged my buddy to check up on him to see how he's doing, and he hasn't produced any songs in over 2 years. He's just trying to make it out to Vancouver and maybe do like artist management, or he wants to still be in the industry, but like this whole this whole thing of like becoming a successful EDM artist, that's like done. And I don't think he's the only one. It seems like most of them now are just like pseudo influencers. That's what it feels like. Not even just music, just like every industry now. It feels like the conclusion for like comedy, music, movies, everything is like going down the path of IRL, like in real life streaming. So it just sucks, man. It's a really shitty situation, and it kind of just makes you, well, it's good to hear this side of the story, right? I mean, there is some argument where it's like you should always have a plan B if plan A doesn't work. But I think with just the way the world's going now, with AI, with just how globalized everything is, where you're not really competing with like your town or city or country, you're now competing with other countries and like everywhere. You're just, as soon as you're doing anything now, when it comes to the job market, when it comes to the internet, you're competing with the entire world now. But yeah, that's just a story I wanted to tell. I'm hoping in the future I can make an update, like a part 2 to this video about my buddy that ends positively. At this point in time, I can't make up I wish I could give you a happy ending, but there's nothing. See ya.